Welcome to the committee as a whole, Human Resources and Education meeting for Thursday, November 7th, 2024. Ms. Coakley, will you please call the roll?
Dr. Peterson?
Here.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hanson? Ms. Rutherford? Ms. Fauntleroy? Mr. Harrell? Ms. Martin? Ms. Moore? Ms. Baker? Ms. McCullum? Ms. Lamy? Ms. Hurstis? Mr. Breaux? Mr. Kuzan? Ms. Rufino Gallagher?
Okay. Would everyone please stand for the presentation of colors by Salmon High School Junior ROTC and remain standing for the invocation and pledge led by Cadet Celeste Hurd.
Ladies and gentlemen, the colors of the United States of America. Color guard, attention. Carry, color. Right, face. Forward, march, left. Left. Left, right. Right, left. Left. Mark time, march. Left. Left. Left, right. Right. Color guard, halt. Left, face. Present, color.
Dear Lord, we are grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy in this country. We know that freedom isn't free. Lord, we are reminded today that many have paid the ultimate price for all of us in America, and for that we owe a debt of gratitude to all the courageous men and women who have served and sacrificed to protect our freedoms. Heavenly Father, we are thankful for those who are currently serving in our armed forces and ask that you protect and bless them. Give them courage, wisdom, and strength to face each day, and may they feel the love, support, and gratitude from us all. With grateful hearts, we ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. No, not yet. Sorry. I apologize. All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry, color. Right, face. Forward, march, left. Left. Left, right. Right, left. 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 Left, right. Right, left.
Okay, you may be seated.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you, Cadet Hurd. Oh, the cadets going to come back in for recognition? Okay, they can hear outside, okay. We would like to thank the following cadets for participating in tonight's meeting. Ms. Chloe Bickham, Skylar Seagrave, Anthony Casey, Victoria Spears, Jeremiah Coleman, Kinsley Strawn, DeMarcus Yingling, Kenneth Fontour, Alisa Roque, and Jada Williams. And I'd like to also want to make sure I thank Salmon High School Junior ROTC, Colonel Bruce Wilson also. Thank you. Okay. At this time, I'd like to ask Superintendent Jabbia to proceed with our special recognition tonight.
It is my honor tonight, It's my honor tonight to continue to salute our veterans this evening. We especially honor our employees and our community members who have served in any branch of the military. In the video produced by St. Anthony Parish Public Schools TV, Pearl Harbor High School Marching Band, under the direction of Stephen Abity, will now present the Armed Forces medley. Veterans, please stand and remain standing as your branch of service is honored. Remain standing as long as your flag is displayed on the screen. Thank you again to all our veterans. And I know Ms. Gallagher would love to be here tonight. She's at a function at North Shore. She is going to make it as soon as she possibly can, but I know she would have been standing for the Coast Guard. So I really want to tell her thank you for her service also. Tonight, we have a special tribute to honor our Marine JROTC program at Mandeville High School. The Marine Corps JROTC program is under the leadership of Colonel Christmas and Master Guns Bailey, and they were named the Naval Honor School by the Commanding General of the Marine Corps Training and Education Command. A Naval Honor School of distinction is given to a Marine Corps JROTC program that is in the top 20% of all Marine Corps JROTC programs across the country. This prestigious honor is awarded to the top programs based on the number of scholarships, enlistments, community service hours, and much, much more. The Marine Corps JROTC program at Mandeville High School and all of our JROTC programs in St. Anthony Parish develop leadership, civic responsibility, and character in all of our students. Channel 13 has produced a video highlighting Mandeville High School's Marine Corps JROTC program. Let's check that out right now.
For the past 2 years, Mandeville High School has been awarded Naval Honor School as being part of the top 10% in all the nation for ROTCs. You turn in all your stats. So you turn in your stats for community service, scholarships, what your cadets are doing in the community. How many times have you represented the school out there? For Mandeville High School and this program, what it means is that we're the best in the state. When you look at it, we took over almost $4.5 million in scholarships, sent 3 to the service academies, 2 ROTC scholarships, Marine options, and the rest, 100% of the senior class was accepted into university.
JROTC has really been something special for me. I've been in the program for 4 years. It's a lot about leadership, citizenship, but just all around just being as good as you can be, striving for excellence.
Some things we learned in ROTC that you really won't find in any other typical classroom is you learn things about not just the military, but how to make yourself a better person. So things like, how to have better nutrition in your life, physical health, mental health, right? Time management is an important thing we learn too, and how to apply that with, staying committed to what you're doing, as well as keeping balance in your life between your mind, your body, and your spirit.
One, down, one, go, one, team, hoorah, hoorah!
Congratulations again to the Mandeville Marine Corps JROTC program. If we have anyone in the membership or in the commands at Mandeville High School, if you please stand and be recognized, please. Unfortunately, they were not able to make it. But they've done amazing. That's right. I forgot we've got ball games going on all over the place. So I just appreciate them. I appreciate all of our ROTC programs across this district. They do a tremendous job, and we're extremely thankful for the work they do. I'll turn it over now to Mr. Bro as he will share a resolution to officially acknowledge our veterans.
Whereas Veterans Day will be observed throughout the nation on November 11th, 2024, and on this day we honor all Americans who have served in the Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, Navy, and Space Force, both in times of war and peace. And whereas we are urged to recognize the sacrifices of our veterans for their courage, valor, and contributions put forth in order to preserve our freedom. And whereas there are about 19 million veterans living among us in every state and territory, and we recognize that these servicemen and women helped shape American history while serving in defense of our nation. And whereas we are extremely grateful to our school system employees who have served our country in the military, as well as to our junior ROTC instructors for their important role in the education of students and their efforts to instill a sense of patriotism in all children in the St. Tammany Parish Public School System. And whereas we are reminded to honor our veterans for their service, and now, therefore, be it resolved that the members of the St. Tammany Parish School Board acknowledge and appreciate the dedicated service of all those who have served in the armed forces of this country and encourage our schools to honor these proud men and women. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the official minutes of this board, with a copy being sent to all schools and offices within the school system to post as a sign of our respect and gratitude to our armed forces. And I so move.
Do I have a motion?
I move.
Are you-
Unanimous second.
All right, unanimous second. All right. That motion passes. I mean, we're done? Okay. Any questions from the public? Any, no questions? Comments from the board? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hanson?
I would just like to say that, not to take anything away from our veterans, we thank our veterans for their service to our community. It feels like my past life, when I was a principal at Covington High, I would ask when we'd have our programs, I would ask anyone, after we recognized the veterans, I'd ask anyone who had a family member that they knew or, that was in serving or had served. And I was always impressed with the number of students that stood because they had, so many of them, their families are military families. And so many of our families in our community have loved ones that join the military. So I thank those family members as well for their sacrifices that they make, when their loved ones are away. So thank you for them, and thank you for all our veterans for everything the freedoms that you provide for us.
Any comments from the public? Okay. Mr. Jabby?
Again, go ahead.
Are we still on recognition? No.
Mr. Jabby?
Again, tonight, we want to recognize our veterans for their commitment and sacrifice that they and their families have made throughout our country. Please stand at this time as we close our salute to veterans with the play and the taps by Mr. Austin Dugas Higdon, Boyette Junior High School's band director. There should also be no applause after the play and the taps. Instead, we will end with a salute with a moment of silence for all of our veterans who have gone before us, that have secured our freedom, and to honor those that are fighting for our freedom right now.
Thank you. And now we'll take a 2-minute break, and any guests that would like to leave, you may do so, please. And board, please remain seated.
I'd like to publicly apologize for my phone and being disrespectful.
Yes, I hate to follow that, but Mr. Javi and I attended the East Slidell Annual Meeting of the North Shore Community Foundation, and I would just like to give a shout out to that group, the East Slidell group, as well as the whole North Shore Community Foundation for all of the service that they do for our communities and also for our school children. There are many, I won't go into listing all of it because I don't remember all of it, but there are many areas that they support our schools and our communities. And one of the special things they did, this East Slidell group, was to help families during, after the tornado that stripped through Slidell, help families relocate and provide food and clothing for them when they had lost everything. So I just want to give a shout out to that group because it is very special for people to give of their time and money and service for others in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCall. Any other recognitions by the board members? None? Okay. We're going to move the superintendent's update until after the first two agenda items. And the first agenda item that we're going to introduce is this in reference to bond issues. And I'll read that excerpt. To consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution, approving the capital improvements plan, designating purposes for which the proceeds of a proposed bond issue will be budgeted and otherwise providing with respect thereto. And at this time, I will call on Mrs. Prevost. Mr. Schluter.
I think Mr. Schluter is going to handle this.
Okay.
Thank you. Grant Schluter with Fuller Udell Bond Counsel. This is a procedure you've used approximately every 4 or 5 years to go back to the voters to ask them to consider additional general obligation bonds with no projected tax increase. The first part of this is to approve a capital improvement plan specifying projects and dollar amounts, estimated dollar amounts, and committing that when the bonds are submitted for consideration of the voters, that you will use good faith effort to undertake each and every project on that project list before you add any additional ones. You will complete all of them. This first resolution commits the school board to that course of action. The next resolution will be the actual election call for the bond issue, and it will incorporate in the proposition that appears in the voting machines the reference to that capital improvement plan that would have been approved prior to the election call.
Is that Mr. Schluter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Do I have do I have a motion? Mr. Kuzan? Second? Ms. Hanson? Okay, any comments from the public? Any questions from the board? Ms. Martin?
Thank you for being here. The items that are on the different things that we want to do, should this get approved, can any of that change? If we vote today, can any of those items change between now and when they are submitted to voters?
Once the resolution is adopted next week, next Thursday's meeting, then that will be incorporated in the proposition, and it cannot be changed prior to the election being held.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Any other questions, board members? Then everyone please vote. Is it? Total here? If they have any questions, maybe I got to get that up. Vote is unanimous. Motion passes. Second item here that I will read the excerpt from. To consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution ordering and calling for a special election to be held in St. Tammany Parish-wide School District Number 12 of the Parish of St. Tammany, State of Louisiana, to authorize the incurring of debt and the issuance of bonds therein, making application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Do I have a motion? Mr. Green, second. Ms. McCullum? Any comments from the public? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Brian Osborne, St. Tammany Federation President. Thank you. I was just kind of hoping for a presentation so that we knew what was in the bond issue and that sort of thing. I think that would help the public. So whether that's done tonight or if that could be done, I think the public, because that's kind of what I thought tonight would be. I mean, it's kind of an exciting thing. So just to keep in mind, but I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
As a question from the board, but I would say that I'll ask our superintendent if he'd like to make any comments for clarification here.
Sure. So tonight, I'd like to just kind of run through the capital improvement plan, building futures and securing tomorrow. I think it's very important that we focus on the infrastructure of what is going on in the school system, along with what we talk about a whole lot around here, and that's improving our workplace environments. This capital improvement plan not only addresses the infrastructure, not only addresses 23 of our 55 campuses, it touches schools in every learning community of all 8 learning communities, and it provides for a brand-new healthcare and STEM Discovery Center as a part of and on the campus of North Shore Technical Community College. What we plan and what this school system plans to do to address the infrastructure, to address how our students are doing, what's going on, meeting the needs of all of our students, and also at the same time addressing 23 campuses that are in desperate need of some renovations. So again, $32 million. The first would be part of our security and technology initiative. Next would be $30 million allocated to a healthcare and STEM facility next door to North Shore Technical Community College. And again, focusing directly on healthcare and STEM in our community. Next would be a transportation initiative, will be directly continue to address this school system building their own fleet of buses and continue to work and service the fleet that we currently have. Again, is to work on 23 campuses, to work on the workplaces for our employees and for our students that are on those campuses and every one of our learning communities, for a grand total of $325 million that would address all those. When it comes to our school district technology and security initiative, again, is to continue with our Chromebooks, our security cameras, our access control, storage, routers, everything that takes place with our network in and around our school system, our Google licenses, continue to address our intercoms, fire and intrusion, working on our computers that we use in our offices and by our faculty and staff, and information technology relocation. It was important that we addressed what's going on with our Chromebooks with over 40,000 Chromebooks in circulation. It was very important to work on a facility. Mr. Bouillon needed a facility to do those things. And rather than spend the money that you know would cost to build that facility, we have that facility already at transportation. So it's a matter of transitioning over the next 5 years and moving IT out to where we are currently having our routers and distributors for transportation and moving those people to our IT center where there already is infrastructure there for Mr. Bouillon to have a warehouse and to be able to house our computers already rather than building a brand new facility. It just wasn't necessary because we have the infrastructure already. It's just a matter of making the transition and moving those two facilities and transferring what goes on at those two facilities. Next would be our Healthcare and STEM Discovery Center. We are very happy to talk to and be able to promote our partnership with our local health and hospital organizations, along with our STEM partners here in St. Tammany Parish. They, in conjunction with us, will work to build a facility that is state-of-the-art. It will be an advanced learning facility for our students to go to for healthcare and STEM, to where we can truly concentrate and develop our students and continue to support what's going on in St. Tammany. Ms. Strataberger and I and other team members are very heavily involved in the workforce roundtable that's going on in our community, and they are absolutely ecstatic about what we're going to do. St. Tammany Parish is moving to be a mecca for hospitals and services around the area, and we've got to be the front line for those communities and those services. Between them and our STEM services, which we have made a huge push in this school system. Chevron is just one of the main companies that is here in St. Tammany Parish, and their partnership means the world to us. And all of those groups, all of our partners are committed to moving forward and to outfitting this facility, and again, to bringing state-of-the-art abilities for our kids to, in their junior and senior year, to be able to go to an advanced study center and to be able to do those type of services. Next, I kind of hit on was our district transportation initiative is over the next 5 years, not currently, but over the next 5 years, continue to address our SWE bus fleet and our regular bus fleet, along with growing our transportation and bus maintenance systems that we bought, that we have out in Pearl River. Those things are progressing well. We need to continue to build those to where we can service our entire fleet over the next 5 years. So between moving IT out to our transportation center currently and moving the routers over to the IT building and transferring those properties to be able to have that warehouse, and also to be able to fully take advantage of the capabilities that this board has given us to service our own buses. Again, that will be a $12 million over the next 5-year project. And if I could run through our true commitment to our 23 our 23 campuses around the school system, where we will be removing 35 classroom portables, 35 old school portables that are maintained around the district. It will be removing all of those portables and removing instruction from happening in outside portable buildings and moving them to a brick and mortar classroom setting. So if I could, I'm going to run through these briefly so that everyone is aware of what's going on all of these campuses. At Abita Springs Elementary, 4 to 6 classroom addition and renovations to their old wing. Bayou Lacombe Middle School, renovations to their suite classrooms. Also renovations to the restrooms in the classroom wing. Also 4 classroom addition and the demolition of their portable buildings. Bonnie Cole Elementary, classroom wing additions. Also the demo of their modulars and their portable buildings. A new kitchen addition, renovations, and use of temporary modulars to get that done. Boyette Junior High School, renovations to the original wings. Also a 4 classroom addition and demolition of all the portables on their property. Carolyn Park Middle School, the renovations of the all original classroom wings. Shataima Elementary, renovation of their interior classrooms, demolition of their portables, cafeteria and gym renovations and additions, and also a library addition. Fifth Ward Junior High School, their suite classroom additions and demolition of their portables. Florida Avenue Elementary School, renovation to the original classroom building wings and to addition of parking. Folsom Junior High School, 4 to 6 classroom addition and demolition of all portables used for classrooms. Honey Island Elementary, 4 classroom addition, entry and administration alterations, and demolition of all of their portables. Lee Road Junior High School, renovations to the gym to support athletics, and demolition of their portables that are currently being used to support athletics. Lyon Elementary School, their new gymnasium, classroom additions, repurposing of their current gym, car and bus canopies, paving, and demolition of their portables. Madisonville Elementary School, 4 to 6 classroom addition, renovation of the original classroom wing, and the addition of cafeteria seating. Mandeville Elementary School, additions and renovations to their old wing, kitchen and cafeteria, their old, like I said, their old classroom wing renovation, and demolition of all portables on that campus. Addition and renovations to Mandeville High School, including kitchen, cafeteria, band, Pro Start, and chorus. Pearl River High School, 4 to 6 classroom addition, a female sports locker room that includes restrooms, and demolition of all of their portable buildings. Pineview Middle School, 6 classroom addition, renovation to all original classroom wings. That includes the library, the gym, demolition of portables, and the addition of parking. Pitcher Junior High School is renovation to accommodate their SWE classroom and demolition of SWE portables. Salmon High School, classroom wing addition with raised structure, a build-out of 4 to 6 classrooms that include restrooms with space for future build-outs that are all under FEMA regulations. Slidell High School is the finishing of the Phase 2 of the Ninth Street building, second floor renovations, elevator entry, and additional parking. Sloan Middle School, renovation and additions that include the administration, entry, and library. At St. Tammany Junior High School, renovations and additions that will include the administration, the moving of music and chorus to the main building, and second floor classrooms. And last but not least, Wood Lake Elementary School, the renovations and relocations of the administration and main entry points for Wood Lake, 8 classroom addition, which is raised construction, and the demolition of all portables on the site at Wood Lake Elementary. Again, the infrastructure is $74 million allocation to address all 23 campuses, is a $251 million allocation, which in total is a $325 million allocation. Again, it is a very large number, but as you can see, just by the work that I listed, it's a tremendous amount of work. It's an upgrade to 23 of our campuses. Again, like I said, it addresses all 8 learning communities. It touches all of our students. The new Discovery Learning Center at North Shore Technical's area next to their campus is the collaboration of the work that's gone in through CTE and through our ability to do dual enrollment, AP, and advanced learning. So I believe that as I've talked to the board members about it, this addresses a whole lot of our needs in St. Tammany Parish, and it addresses some of our most crucial needs, which is our campuses, the 23 campuses I talked about that desperately need to be renovated and to be updated, and will bring our 55 campuses up to the ability that we all know they need to be. And we're here to answer any questions if anyone has any questions for us tonight.
So, thank you, Mr. Jabby, for the thorough overview of that. And I've noticed that some of those items in there are actually in compliance. To meet compliance with Title IX, we have to.
Yes, sir.
So we are legally bound for some of those projects. Before that, I wanted to ask, before we do this, before we go back to the board, I'm going to revert back to any comments from the public at this time, because since we did not have that information before, we're good. All right. That with all our questions from the board. Ms. Hanson? Oh, Mr. Burrow, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to emphasize the fact that we have been doing this probably 50 years. Every 5 years or so, we need to come out with bond issues. It's needed by the parish so that we can keep our facilities up to date. There are items in there that as you mentioned, are mandatory that we will have to do. Other items such as the Chromebook replacements, I mean, we have to replace those. So there are necessary items on there. The ability to renovate our schools is a must. Last bond issue, about 5 years ago, we were able to get rid of a lot of the portables, but they're portables and they're modulars. We didn't have enough money in the bond issue last time to get rid of all the portables, and the modulars are still there. Some of these are 20, 30 years old, well past their lifetime. They are going to fall apart if we don't replace them soon. So this is the way we fund the facilities in our parish. This has been done for 50 years or more. Every 5 years we do this. And I want to point out that this plan is not going to increase the, what is it called? The millage.
Yeah, the millage.
The millage. This does not increase the millage. It just, as the plan from 20 or 30 years ago fall off the chart, this is to replace that, so there is no increase in the millage. And I know that's important in today's environment, that your taxes will not increase due to this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Breaux. Ms. Hanson?
Yes, I was going to say something like that as well, and remind our constituents while this is a very hefty amount it may look at, but there's many needs. You can look throughout our parish over the past 50 years and see all the improvements that we've made because of these initiatives that we've done. And remember, the state gives us absolutely no money for buildings, capital improvement, whatever we need, we have to provide it ourselves. So we'd appreciate the support of our constituents. A couple of questions primarily. The school's facility list, and that was, I just think it's important that our public knows how that list was compiled.
So over the course of the last year, Ms. Tipton, myself, Ms. Hart, and our entire staff evaluated every single property that we have. We keep a needs list going, but we physically have been visiting and evaluating every one of those properties. And, we took into account age of building, last time they were updated, needs of the facility, needs of the principal, needs of the community, and we evaluated every single property. So we physically provided a list to the board members of every single facility and where we were and what needed to be done to renovate, to modernize those facilities. And so, again, that's what's been taking place over the last year, and I could not have done that without Ms. Tipton and her entire team. Did a tremendous job, and very extensive work was done to prepare the numbers for you so that we could give the public and this board a very accurate number of what it would take to make those facilities and to bring those facilities up to the level that we expect and that are needed on our campuses.
Thank you, Mr. Jabby. Ms. Hanson?
Thank you, Mr. Jabby. And some follow-up questions about the Healthcare and STEM Learning Initiative. Was doing some research when this was first brought up. Is this somewhat like what they would call a collegiate high school?
It is. It's basically, yes, it's not going to be a complete opportunity for kids won't transfer there and do their entire work there, but they will be it will be a hands-on advanced learning center. So basically they would spend half of their day, their junior and senior year on their campuses where they're housed, and they would spend the second half of the day doing practicum and earning those credentials necessary for them to move forward in their
And
field.
perhaps get an associate's degree before they leave high school.
That is the entire plan. On the 21st, Dr. Langlois, and I'll get into where she is in a few minutes, Dr. Langlois and I will be discussing that with you guys more on the 21st as we move forward into what we have projected for our school systems and our high schools so that we have the opportunity to earn, for our students to earn an associate degree while they're high school students.
And just to follow up, one more thing, I promise you I'll be finished then, and that is, you know, for all of those students who are concerned about, wait, I'm not going to be able to go to my high school that I go to, you will go to your high school, you will graduate from your high school, you will participate, attend, blah, 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 all that with your high school, but this is just an enhancement of the high school experience and prepping for college or
That is
after
correct.
that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted it
Yes,
to
ma'am.
be, people to have a visual of what that was.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
not trying to build a new high school.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson. Ms. Baker?
Thank you. And also, I want to thank you all for taking the time to really give an in-depth present an in-depth capital improvement plan. Because like Ms. Hanson said, we as taxpayers own the property that the children are sitting in. So it is our duty and our responsibility to care for those. And I do appreciate Mr. Osborne saying, hey, wait, y'all, before you vote on this, tell us about it. But the reality is, I think we were prepared to vote on the election, and then we will follow up with a campaign initiative and let everyone know. This is simply, we're voting on asking for an election. Can we have an election to ask our taxpayers to pay for the buildings that they own and keep them up? But as it folds out, and once we get that approved, then there will be a full-fledged capital improvement. And I am excited about the new building for kids going into perhaps the medical field or engineering, and what the community services are going to help us to keep that up and running. And again, all that will come out in the campaign initiative. So I just wanted the public to know we're not just going to throw an election out there without telling you all about it. You will be seeing that. Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Baker, after the first of the year, I'll be available to present to any organization, any group, any group of people that would like to learn more. I will be available, and I will be reaching out to many of the activist groups that are in our communities.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gabby, and thank you, Ms. Baker. Ms. McCullum?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Just to clarify, Mr. Jabbia, will this remove all of the portable buildings from all our campuses, other than maybe some storage that some of the schools will use? We will still have a few of the modular buildings. Am I correct about saying that?
Correct. So it will remove all of the portables that are currently used for instruction. We do have a lot of portable buildings that have been taken over by PTAs, by people that store things, our custodians that store, but no classrooms will be contained once we're finished that house children or that educate children. But we do have many modular buildings around our district that we are maintaining that will stay in effect. Those are very usable buildings. What we're talking about is old school portable buildings that'll be removed that are currently being used for classrooms.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. McCullum. Mr. Kuzan?
Thank you. I think it's important that the public know that this is the only way that we can keep our facilities up. And for the past 40, 50 years, this is the way that we have been able to do what we have done. And it's very important that you know that it doesn't increase the amount of taxes or anything that imposed on the public, but it's something that's recurring in order for us to keep our facilities up. And it's very important to the students in this parish that we have the type of facilities that we have, because it also shows the type of programs that we initiate. So it's very important that the public understand that this is the only way that we can keep the facilities up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. Any further questions from the board? Being none, please vote. The vote is unanimous. It passes. At this time, will the superintendent will please give us your updates.
Thank you, Mr. Schluter. Thank you for being here.
Can I just make one further comment?
Sure.
If it's all right. I'm just following up on some of the comments about no projected tax increase. What you might want to keep in mind and everyone should be aware of is every time you've gone out with one of these bond proposals, you've indicated no projected increase in the then current rate. But the fact of the matter is, not only have you not increased the tax rate, but over the last couple of decades or so, you've had 4 major bond issues, elections, and you've issued the bonds periodically every year. You've had 4 major bond elections totaling $531 million for technology, security, and facilities. You not only, over that time period, have not exceeded what you represented to the voters, but you've reduced the bond millage by approximately 1/2. I believe it was, Terry, if I'm correct, I think it was 25.9 mils in the early 2000s. It's now, last year was 13.9. You reduced it again this year to 13.8. So you have decades of reducing the bond millage at the same time that you've furnished many millions for security initiatives and technology and facilities. So that's what we're doing here on the election call. The proposition will indicate no projected increase above the reduced current 13.8 mils that's servicing all of these bonds of the school district. And we anticipate being able to continue on that path in the future and continue that reduction of the bond millage. But I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you so much, Mr. Schluter.
Thank you.
Valuable information. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Javier?
So, thank you, Dr. Pearson. So tonight, as I stated, Dr. Langlois is not here. Dr. Langlois is where I would like to be right now. She's in Washington, D.C. She is with Ms. Wingate and the faculty and staff at Woodlake as they are receiving their Blue Ribbon Award. So that is going on right now. And again, they're being honored for being one of only 7 schools in the entire state of Louisiana and one of only 356 schools nationwide to be given a Blue Ribbon School Award for closing the achievement gaps and doing such a tremendous job. So I just want to congratulate them. I know they're not watching us, and I hope they are having a very good time, but congratulations. It is a much-deserved honor at Woodlake, and we really do wish them, I hope they're having a wonderful, wonderful night. This week was kind of crazy. We had 3 board members that had birthdays this week. So on Monday was Miss Lammy's birthday. On Tuesday was Mr. Bro's birthday. And tonight is Mr. Green's birthday. So Mr. Green is celebrating with us tonight. How about that? What a birthday present. So congratulations. Thank you all so much. And I hope you all had a great week. If you're like Miss Mendez, it's birthday month, but we'll see. Hers is still going, so we'll see how that goes. But I would like to recognize some groups that we had a chance to honor here lately, and the first one is our amazing principals. We are blessed. We have amazing principals that do a tremendous job in this school system. Let's check out a video from Channel 13 honoring our principals.
Coming to school with a great principal makes us better students.
I like a principal who interacts with his students and actually knows who we are.
I think what makes a good principal is someone that shows that they appreciate you and they consider your time and take into consideration what you think is going to do well in your classroom and for the whole school.
Principals are usually the first to come to school and the last to leave. Principals, they have an awesome responsibility, not only to make sure the school is functioning, but also they foster a happy and a productive environment for the teachers and students to excel in.
All the way from our staff and our little babies from pre-K all the way to 6th grade, everybody feels welcome and we feel like we're a big family here.
good aspect of, our principal and improving the culture of our school is always being visible. We have a principal that can always be seen. It doesn't matter if he's in a meeting or, talking with someone on the phone. He will stop what he's doing in order to be seen during class changes or in the morning time. And it really makes a difference in the overall culture of our school.
A good principal promotes a strong academic environment while also emphasizing a culture of inclusion and success.
Like, she'll just give me those vibes that I'm in a safe place. I'm with people that love me for who I am.
Again, we're truly blessed. Also recently, we had the opportunity to honor and recognize our school bus owner-operators and our attendants. I've told y'all since we opened up school, we couldn't do it without our owner-operators and our attendants. Our transition and start of school was absolutely tremendous. They do a great job. Mr. Burmaster and his team do a tremendous job. And we are truly blessed to have a fleet of over 400 that service this school system and get our kids safely to school and home every day. So let's check out a video from Channel 13 in our transportation department.
We appreciate our bus drivers and attendants because they care for us and they go out of their way to do things for us to make us happy, safe, and just overall better.
Our bus drivers are important to the community because they know where they're going and they're very safe when they're driving.
I feel special that I am able to get these children to school safely and bring them home safely every day. And that's my goal. That's all I want every day, is to get everybody to school and to home safely.
It's important to appreciate our bus attendants because they're selfless and take care of others. Our attendants make our sweet students feel comfortable when getting to school and from school.
I'm thankful for my attendant. She helped me to stay comfy and safe on the bus.
I love the kids a lot. I was in the classroom for many years, and I love being on the bus, getting to know the kids on their way to school. It's just wonderful to be a part of their daily lives, getting to and from school.
I love driving. It's the best thing I ever did. This is my 8th year driving. I love the kids. I love the parents. I mean, they're like my family now.
A lot of those bus drivers make our day a lot better by bringing us home, and they also do things on the bus to make us happy, like crack jokes, give us candy, and a lot more.
I absolutely adore my job, and I love to see my kids every day. It's just the excitement that they get when they get on the bus. It's heartwarming to me.
We're truly blessed, and thank you to all our owner-operators and our attendants for all you do for us every day. As I talked about Ms. Stratterberger a while ago, we recently did an event that Ms. Stratterberger helped coordinate with Covington High School with LSU Ag Center, where they did a simulation. It's called a life event, and they did a financial literacy simulation to where students, got a job with a salary, and they had to take that and then go through and kind of learn how far that salary goes and how to meet their needs and all the different challenges that us as adults and families go through every day and every month. So let's check out a little video of the life event at Covington High School.
So what you are holding in your hands is your future occupation. 1, 2, 3, over here, 3.
I came in today, I opened my folder, and I got forest lodger. I'm not really sure what exactly entails in that job, but I got roughly $46,000 a year.
So this is our life simulation. Life stands for Living Your Financial Experience. It's a program that we offer statewide for high school students to learn about basic financial concepts, principles such as goal setting and budgeting, credit, insurance, all those foundational pieces.
It gives kids a real picture of how money is spent in a household on a monthly basis and how budgeting is so important.
The best part about this is having those community members here
to work with our students, to give them their expertise.
And I think you could look at their faces and see how much they enjoyed it. And of course, a lot of them are in that field, so they're very knowledgeable about it, so it could take the kids to a higher level of understanding.
For many of them, this is the first time that they're being asked or challenged to make decisions on insurance, retirement. They're learning the price of groceries.
And after going through the life simulation, I budgeted my money so well that I had $230 left over each month.
I walked into this not really knowing how to manage my money or anything, so I'm hoping at the end of this I can learn how to better manage it.
It's just an amazing event where they get to actually see where money goes monthly and what their parents and family are dealing with on a month-to-month basis. Sure. I just want to thank Mr. Green and Ms. McCullum. They were both there to help us run. Just to kind of give you an example, so when you got to a station, so you got to the automobile station, you could choose to, depending on what you had tiers of what vehicles, whether you want a new vehicle, SUV, whether it was a used vehicle, whatever it might be. So what also was a price tag of what that cost you per month to have that vehicle, to use that vehicle. And so, Dr. Langlois had that station, and one of the kids walked up and said, "Looks like I'm taking a bike. I'll be using a bicycle." I'm like, that's not an option, bud. And many of them had dead set they were living at home. When they saw the price of housing and what it took, they were going to live at home. But anybody, Ms. McCullum or Mr. Green, anybody?
I just wanted to also add, while the program, I think, initiated out of LSU, correct?
Ag Center.
And the Ag Center. And LSU Ag was already working with Ms. Strataberger, but the Louisiana Certified Public Accountants, as I understand, a high school friend of mine is the president of that organization. And he calls up one day and he's like, "Hey, I want to go to Covington High, and all the CPAs in our organization are going to volunteer their time to go into the ag classrooms and talk to them about financial literacy. What do you think about that?" And then I called Mr. Jabbia, and he said, that Ms. Strataberger was already on it. So I am beyond excited for this to continue to grow. I know it's a state initiative, as I understand, but also, again, the community coming together for the greater good of kids. So the Louisiana Certified Public Accountant, is that right, Ms. Prevost? Association are volunteering their time as public accountants to go in and teach these kids what it's going to cost them to live. And I just can't wait for this program to continue to grow to all of our high schools. I think it's invaluable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah,
Mr. Green?
I thought it was just a very beneficial experience for me, and I think all the kids, and it was useful to work around through the different stations and how they budgeted. And I do retirement planning for the most part. It's definitely a part of what I do for a job. And I had the best day of my career that morning. I sold more retirement plans than I have in a decade of doing this. So it was a lot of fun, and I think the kids got a lot out of it too. So
totally agree. Thank you, Mr. Green. Oh, Ms. McCollum, go ahead.
Yes, it was just a great experience. Thanks, Ms. Strataberger, for including us and inviting us to come. I had phone, internet, and cable, so mine was very easy. They really wanted mine. But what was fascinating, the first group that came through, they were the ones that ended up riding a bike because they couldn't afford a car. But after that, some of them got smart, and they decided they were going to live together. And so they pooled their money. So it was a fun experience for them, but it was very rewarding for us to work with them as well. And it was very eye-opening for them as well as many of them expressed. So it was great activity. Thank y'all.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, that is an initiative that's going to be growing in our schools and becoming part of the yearly regimen of our students. So we're looking forward to growing financial literacy every year throughout the school system. Just a couple more things. We've completed 4 of our future focus nights. Great turnout on those. They're being basically run by the students. And so just being able to see those students take charge. Last night, we were at Pearl River High School. The students did everything from the start to the finish and did a tremendous job, and they're showing off what's going on in our schools. And I had a couple parents come up to me and say, this is an amazing event. The things that I do on a daily, y'all are recognizing how important they are, and students are getting the opportunity to get those credentials on your campus. So really appreciate everyone's hard work. We got 4 more to go. Again, we'll be handing those at all 8 of our high schools. So we have 4 more to come. Like I talked about earlier, we visited St. Charles Parish. I want to thank Dr. Ortling for allowing us to come over there. We will get into that on the 21st. Dr. Langlois and the entire staff will be going through that with you. But just want to thank them for hosting principals and CNI staff and kind of going through. We spent half our day, the first half at Hawnville High School, and the second half of our day at Destrehan High School. And what they're doing with kids is amazing, and we are looking forward to replicating and improving on many of the things that they do in St. Charles. So we appreciate them and having them and holding us and having us over the course of that day. Tomorrow morning, I'll start the day in West Feliciana at a School of Excellence. Again, I am the regional chair, so I'll be attending. West Feliciana, of course, is in our region, and so I'll be going there to one of the elementary schools that will be recognized as a School of Excellence. And then after that, I head over to Baton Rouge for Dr. Brumley's Superintendent Advisory Council, which starts at 1 o'clock. So I'll be from leaving home at 6 a.m., headed to Feliciana, and then over to the Capitol. And lastly, a bit of good news. The deadline has passed for charter applications, and there was not a charter application processed in St. Tammany this year. So that is very good news. They didn't submit. So there was no submission of application this year. So all we have is the school that will be coming online for next fall. So Dr. Peterson, that's all the updates I have for us tonight.
Thank you, Superintendent. I just wanted to say one thing in regard to that before we move on. That is that at Pearl River High School last night, focus on the future, it was like just 2 worlds connecting when you walked into a drone activity. Students learning how to, getting certified to fly drones, and the use of that. And one of the comments was that I said, "Where do you use this technology?" And they said that crop dusting is like a thing of the past almost. They use drones now, and they do the work in like a third of the time. And it's just amazing that in such a lucrative aspect. That's just, to me, it's new. But that's just one of many things, along with going in and seeing their meat processing, their carpentry, their welding, their agriculture departments. There were so many outstanding vocational technical activities going on within the school property. And it's just amazing to see. And I'm really glad for the students at Pearl River High School and all of our schools. But that being said, we'll move on now to the next item on the agenda, which would be the approval of the minutes for the committee as a whole, meeting that took place on October the 3rd, 2024. Do we have a motion? Mr. Kuzan, second. All right. Ms. Martin? Okay, that's fine. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Ms. Moore, I apologize. All right, Ms. Moore. So with that, do you have any comments from the public? None? Questions from the board? Okay, everyone please vote. Is 12 yeas, 1 abstention. At this time, I would call on Mr. Alfonso for the Human Resources in regard to giving us an update.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Peterson, Board, and Superintendent Jabbia. I'm going to focus on some events that have occurred and some upcoming events in HR. I do have vacancy information if you'd like to ask me after I'm done with the event portion of this. First of all, I'd like to thank our in insurance, our employee benefits staff, because right now, as you know, it's a busy time. If you go in there, they look like switchboard operators. They answer on the phone and updating because it's open enrollment. So I'm very appreciative of those ladies led by Renee Mothershed. If anybody has ever dealt with her, you know what I'm talking about. Also, you guys have recently approved some changes with our retirees, moving from our Humana plan to United Healthcare. So we dispatched our insurance department and United Healthcare, attended 2 meetings, one on the east end of St. Tammany, one on the west end, to provide information and informational sessions for retirees to ask questions regarding the changes to United Healthcare. And I'm very proud to say that all those changes have been well received. United Healthcare was very, very supportive. They answered questions. And also we brought in our supplemental benefit. Well, I call it supplemental, but it's Humana Dental and Vision for retirees. They were also at the meetings to answer questions for our retirees. So this week also we had a calendar committee meeting per the CBA Article 9:18. It's a committee comprised of a member from each job class and some appointees from the superintendent. We met this week to plan the 26-27 school year. It went very well. I'll be coming to you in coming months with the final drafts after our employees vote. So everything went well with that. Now, the important information, excuse me, I'm about to roll out a timeline of events to our administrators starting at our principals meeting this Tuesday. You know, this time of year, we diving into projections at each school, you know, the staffing at each school. We're planning for transfer fair with the staff, and we're also planning for job fair. So it's a very extensive process. Part of that process is through projections. I go out and I do K through 12 staff, K through 12 teachers with every school, and Ms. Gardner does it with me also in conjunction. She goes out and does the special students with exceptionality staff. Also, I'd like to say here, and I might be jumping the gun a little bit, you know, you guys know Brian Davis. Brian Davis is his extensive knowledge and what he provides this school system. It's unheard of. He was invited, so he's not here tonight. He was invited to speak at the Louisiana Association of Self-Insured Employers. So that's where he is right now, and he is one of their speakers. So that's why he's not here tonight. So he's recognized by them. They also, that group is also encouraging him to join their board because of his knowledge. And as you know, as a board, we're self-insured, and that's a group that kind of represents people like us. Also, like I said, I do have vacancy information. If you would like that, I'm here to answer any questions. Thanks for your time.
Any questions or comments from the board? Mr. Bro?
When you're doing this evaluation, have you, I know it's hard to do, but have you considered that charter school is anticipating pulling 800 students from the Covington area?
Yeah.
And I don't know how you plan for that because there's no sign up. And you said it starts fall. In the fall.
Yes, sir. That's very hard to plan for, but as you know, we take pride in St. Tammany in our class numbers. So we stick to that. Superintendent Jabby has directed me to dive into each staff to see where we are. You know, where we're with staff. Do we have to add? Do we have to cut? What do we have to do? And I already began those conversations with principals. So planning for that is pretty tough. I agree with you. But we're hoping.
We have no idea if it's really going to be 800 or 200 or.
Yeah, but we're hoping that it's spread out and has a minimal impact. That's what we're hoping, and that's usually what charter schools do.
Okay.
But their enrollment is projected to be $800 800 students at full capacity. They're only starting with 3 grades. So it's going to be about 300 students.
And we're hoping, sorry, Superintendent. We're hoping also that, you know, when the charter school was presented to us, they said they're targeting our homeschool population. I hope they stick to that. So we'll have no impact.
Any other questions? I'm sorry. Mrs. Gallagher?
When you say job fair, you mean the one in May, or do you have one in the middle of the year?
We have one before job fair, which we call transfer fair, which is our employees.
But
Job fair is in May, yes.
But they only have one transfer fair a year, or do they have more than one?
One transfer fair, one job fair.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Gallagher. Any other questions from the board? Okay, being none. Mr. Alfonso, would you continue with the monthly transportation report now?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Peterson. Your monthly transportation report is on board docs before you. Director of Transportation, Mr. Burmaster, is here to answer any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Burmaster? All right, let's continue on then. Monthly risk management report.
Thank you again. Like I said, Mr. Davis is not here. If you have particular questions for him, just call him or email him. He's very accessible. You have his report before you. If you have any questions, I could answer some, but he'll be more extensive than I will.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Alfonso. All right, Ms. Baker, sorry.
I did call him, and I just want to say the value of his position and his wealth of knowledge is unbelievable. I don't know that we've had someone with that kind of experience in that position before. I think we're truly blessed. But one of the things I looked at was the bus accidents in the month of October, and I called him, I'm like, what's the deal? And one of the things that he reminded me of is that we travel 6 million miles on St. Tammany Parish roads every year, and so he wasn't overly concerned about that, but with the technology that we're implementing into the buses and stuff will help us hopefully in the future to calm some of those. I can't imagine the stress of driving a bus.
And as you know, Ms. Baker, we basically, just to throw it out there, approximately 400 buses on the road each day. We're hoping that nothing happens and for the safety of our children, but, something, with being so transient like that, something's bound to happen. And, Matt does a great job with his staff, with the investigators, of jumping on things and addressing things as they occur. And I got to say this too, Matt and Brian Davis have reinstituted our safety meetings. So like if a driver has an accident and, say it's an at-fault accident, I'm just going to throw it out there, some are at fault. They'll meet with that driver, go over things with them, and then recommend some remediation after the safety meeting. So they've been doing those monthly.
Well, that's good to know. I could never drop a bus. I could never handle that. So thanks for everything.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Mr. Kuzan?
Thank you. I'd just like to go on record to say that we have a great transportation system. Having worked closely with this group when I was a supervisor, it's amazing how hard and this group is, and there's not a harder working group in this parish than our transportation system, the bus drivers and stuff. And I know that we have accidents and things like that, but they need to be congratulated on the type of efforts that they put in getting these kids to and from school every day. So I just want to go on record and say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. Absolutely. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Bro?
Thank you. In terms of the number of accidents or reported incidents, the number's way up for the year. But I asked the same question, I think, last month, and he said many of these incidents, there's absolutely nothing involved. I mean, there were no collision. It's just we are reporting everything. And if you look, the actual number of injuries is way down. So, it's good to report everything. It looks bad on the statistics, but I think he's doing all of our bus drivers are doing a wonderful job.
Yes, it could be something as simple as a mirror tapping something or tapping a mailbox backing up. It could be something as simple as that.
Yeah, an incident is not a claim.
Right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bro. Any other questions from the board? All right. Next item on our agenda, consideration of revisions to School Board Policy GAMJA, accommodations for for employees to express breast milk.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Dr. Peterson. First of all, we had a policy committee, and Ms. Hart's going to dive deeper. It was led by Ms. Hart. We had a policy committee. As you see in the next meeting, we have more policies. This was one of them. But, thanks for all those who attended. I was part of Ms. Hart's committee with this. I guess if you look at this policy, the question you're going to ask is like, in 2018, why now in 2023 are we updating? So why 5 years later? You know, in typical St. Tammany fashion, we have everything that is in this new Act 2023 Pump Act during the Biden administration. We have done that under our current policy. The only changes that I have to talk to you about is just two things. They added some non-discriminatory language, which simply means that if a lady has to express milk, you can't discriminate. You have to provide reasonable accommodations for that lady, and we did that in our other policy. The other thing is we had a portion of our other policy that dealt with unpaid leave. So just to give an example, a principal's working with a teacher so a teacher can express milk during her break time. You know, and sometimes that don't work. So then I'm just going to use an elementary school, for example. They say, okay, what's her enrichment schedule? What's her duty schedule? They start moving things around to reasonably accommodate that teacher so they can express milk. So that was already occurring. If they can't, if the principal offers reasonable accommodations and the employee just simply can't, you know, express milk during reasonable accommodations, then they have, in our old policy, we had something called unpaid leave, and it was tracked. You know, she goes for 20 minutes off to the side, privately expresses milk, the principal tracks, and it's unpaid leave. You know, that was in the other policy. They have now added to this current policy, they kept the unpaid leave portion there. In the new policy under the Pump Act is paid leave. Paid leave just simply means that, okay, we accommodated her, she's expressing milk, but she's still responsible for some responsibilities. You know, her duties, she's responsible for turning a lesson plan. I'm just throwing examples out there. So she would still be paid. So that was added to the policy. So only two things were added to the policy: non-discriminatory language and paid leave. Everything else we have done and has always done.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Alfonso. Do they have a motion? Ms. Gallagher? Ms. Hurstis? Or Ms. Hurstis? Second? Yeah, we've already had that. All right, Ms. Gallagher, and I'm sorry. Any comments by the public? There being none, questions from the board? Okay. Everyone, please vote.
Oh, I was in the queue. I didn't know it wasn't up. I just have a question. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Alfonso, so before, if they couldn't express breast milk during like their planning period or whatever, I don't understand the unpaid leave part of that.
So,
Because I don't understand how that's.
I was kind of brief in my example. We had we have a current situation, like a current lady who's expressing milk. So the principal starts working with an employee and offers 5 or 6 different accommodations, different break times for the lady to cover her responsibilities so she can express milk. If it does not fit and the employee says, no, I can't do it then, then they still can express milk, but it's unpaid leave. That was the old policy. That was in the old policy, and that's still in the policy now and is still in the Pump Act. The principal has to make reasonable accommodations.
So they would get deducted pay?
Yes.
If they couldn't do it during the times that the principal set out for them?
Or they can leave or they can use some of their time when we track it. Yes, ma'am.
And that's still in the policy?
But just think about this, ma'am, just to really simplify it. You know, a teacher's teaching 20 kids, and she says, I want to go now. Who's watching the kids? So that's why it has to be reasonably accommodated. So, you know, hopefully it's done during their planning time, during their break time, during lunch, where they can during their duty time, where they can send another teacher to cover their duty.
Okay.
So that's reasonably accommodating.
Okay.
If they deny all that, then that's when you get into unpaid leave.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gallagher. Mr. Alfonso. Can we proceed? Everyone, please vote. Motion passes unanimous. All right, let's move on to the next item on our agenda, instruction and students with exceptionalities. And textbook update, Mrs. Fuller.
Good
Please.
evening, Board Chairman Peterson, Board Members, Superintendent Javia, and guests. Tonight, I'll provide an overview of the adoption process of instructional materials for social studies and career and technical education courses. Our main goal is to ensure that we provide high-quality instructional materials to support the education of our students. The Louisiana Department of Education, in collaboration with Core Knowledge Foundation, has created Bayou Bridges, a comprehensive curriculum for kindergarten through 8th grade students. Bayou Bridges is currently the only aligned curriculum that is aligned to the new Louisiana Social Studies standards. They are the only vendor at this time. Each unit is organized around a central framing question and includes engaging text paired with colored illustrations, pictures, maps, and primary source documents. Additionally, in partnership with Core Knowledge Foundation, the LDOE has developed Foundations of Freedom, a Louisiana civics program specifically aligned with the high school civic standards. The Foundations of Freedom curriculum will be released in the spring of 2025, and implementation support will be provided at the 2025 Teacher Leader Summit and during specialized summer training sessions. We will purchase these instructional materials as a district for K-8 social studies and government courses. Here is a list of high school social studies courses up for adoption. Now moving to CTE. This area includes diverse subjects aimed at developing real-world skills and career readiness and/or preparing students to pass the industry-based certification associated with this course. Ms. Kara Masling is the new supervisor coordinating this year's adoption. Together, we have outlined this year's process. The adoption review period will begin on December 9th and continue through January 24th at all 8 high schools and our 2 public viewing sites. Ms. Masling will present the adoption results for board approval in February. Our goal is to have materials in schools by the end of April or the beginning of May. As an essential part of this process, we will offer professional development sessions in late spring and summer to ensure our teachers are well prepared for these new materials. We are committed to making this a smooth transition and providing teachers with the resources they need to engage their students with this content. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions or comments from the board?
Clear the floor and reopen it,
Okay.
because I don't know who was there from last time.
All right. We'll begin with Ms. Fauntleroy.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. I guess my question is, for subjects that don't really change, why do we continue? Okay, world history, it's not changing that much. So why do we continue to adopt new materials on the same cycle that we do subjects that change often?
So for the social studies, we are way past an adoption because they were redoing the standards for Louisiana. Those books are beaten up. They really need to have new materials. And so to do that, we have to go through the textbook adoption.
And we also have to have the licenses to go with them, right?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's what my question was. Are a lot of these still using textbooks, or is it just other resources?
It's both. So our contracts for a lot of the licenses have run out. There were only some that I was able to extend. So for some courses, it is just the textbook and whatever they're doing in Google Classroom. But as far as online resources for a lot of those textbooks, we don't have those anymore. So like I did for Spanish, we kind of pulled the teachers to see, do you want an actual physical textbook, a class set, individual? We'll do that again through this adoption.
So can different teachers do different things, or do we do every teacher gets the same package? Because, I mean, we've had this discussion before. There are a lot of dumpsters full in May of workbooks that don't get used.
No, I pulled and surveyed each school, and different teachers wanted different things. So you had one teacher that did want a textbook for every student
then you had the teacher right next door that just wanted to use the class set. And the same with workbooks as well.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Fauntleroy. Ms. Gallagher?
So this is not a fun topic for me because I agree with Ms. Fauntleroy because so if I want a textbook for every kid that comes through my classroom and Mr. Kuzan only wants a class set, are you only ordering what these teachers want? Or do you have to get a certain amount?
I always get a couple of extra because we have to allow for those students that the teacher just wanted a class set. It could be students with exceptionalities. It could be that a parent says, no, I want to have a textbook at the house. So I do buy not enough for every single student because I can always buy later with the same price.
Okay, so as far as, because I will agree with the whole dumpster, because I will discuss this with you guys later. There's a bunch of boxes at a school that haven't been opened yet. They were supposed to go out this year. There's workbooks in my kid's math class. The teacher flat out told us, your kid's gonna get a workbook, we're not using it this year. I about cringed.
Yeah.
Because I did not
That's
vote for all this
unacceptable.
curriculum. We're spending tons of money on stuff that teachers are not using. And if, again, can we just buy licenses for textbooks and keep the books we have and order a few more? Because I know you said they're old. But again, world history doesn't change. Yes, there's a few world events that might go into it, but I'm pretty sure it's further back than 9/11. So like the amount of money we're spending on books that are going in the dumpster and workbooks that my kid is never going to use and workbooks and curriculum that is sitting in a classroom that has never been touched this year, it is hard for me to say, yes, let's go get some new curriculum.
And I understand that.
This is K through 8 for government and civics, but then you flip to now all of these high school studies classes are getting AP World History, US History, and then on top of that, all these ag science, auto tech and all that. Auto tech might change, I'm not gonna lie there, that's probably in medical terminology. But there's no cost associated with this. Like, do we not have that? Do we have any idea?
Oh, what is the cost? I budgeted for that.
No, what, like how much is all this, there's no cost on it here.
Right.
We don't know exact cost until we get the exact.
And so when I was doing my projections, like for the textbook adoption, I budgeted roughly about 2 million for social studies and then 1.6 for CT. That is over because I wanted to make sure that we did have enough. CT was extremely hard to try to cost out because those prices vary drastically from one vendor to the next.
And the majority of that stuff's not online. You have to actually have physical textbooks.
No, a lot of it can be both, or I don't know of anything that's just a textbook anymore. There's always going to be some type of online component.
But, so I guess my question too, like Mr. Alfonso, he's the auto tech teacher. He decides this year his class only wants the textbook or doesn't want the textbook, only wants a workbook or vice versa. Well, then he decides to transfer to he's a principal the next year. So now what if Ms. Hart takes over and she wanted the textbook? How do we fill the gap that we didn't get for him? Or did they have to just, whatever he ordered for the next 5 years is what we have?
No, ma'am. So what I usually do is I seek out extra textbooks from other schools first, always. But then I can still purchase. If we don't have any, I can still purchase at this locked price. So I can purchase additional ones if I were to need to.
Surplus.
Okay.
And I always put that in my budget too, to accommodate for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gallagher. Ms. Baker?
Thank you. So, just to be clear, the Bayou Bridges, that, from what I understand, is a one and done, like that's all we're offering, like,
So that will not go through the full adoption.
And the reason for that is because I'm just checking for understanding, is because the state has not completed its like, why do we have this is our curriculum, they're not even offering us anything for you to offer the schools. And I know that Ms. Holt has gone out for one frustrated teacher who's like, what is this? And some love it. I checked with all my principals today. Some love it, some, it is what it is. I mean, no one has said they hated it, but I just don't like, it's just not a good look to only represent one and done curriculum. I don't, that's not, but is it, it's not us, it's the state,
No,
correct?
so it's based on, the Louisiana changed its standards. So for a vendor to take on creating a textbook just based off of Louisiana standards that might get picked or not, there's no vendors fighting at the bit to do that. So that's the issue.
So is in comparative price, is Bayou Bridges a lot less money since it's created by the state and therefore it should save some money?
Yes, ma'am, and it's an open source, so like, y'all could go online right now and look at everything that all of our kids and teachers have. It is a lot cheaper, actually, but they're not as durable. So this is an example of a student reader for 1 unit. And so let's say for, I think it's 5th grade, might have 6 units. It's about $4 per book. So it is substantially a lot cheaper. How well are these going to hold up? They're predicting 2 to 3 years.
That's supposed to hold up 2 to 3 years with the, what grade?
With a student. But they're all like this, but it's K through 8. Now, not all teachers are sending them home with students.
Okay.
So,
All right, well, thank you. It's just, yeah, and I appreciate, one more question for you, Ms. Prevost. So whatever curriculum and instruction put in the budget, that's what has to be spent on curriculum and instruction, like we don't move that money somewhere else?
We can always move money. The superintendent has the authority to reclass among lines.
Okay.
As long as he can't change the total, but we'd have to bring that back to you. But yeah, I mean, they don't have to spend it. I mean, it's a budget. So, but, you know, if we need to make a revision, we make a revision, that comes to the board. But we can always move between lines without having to do that. We do that all the time.
Okay, I'm just trying to avoid, I know that the curriculum instruction department has really worked to avoid what happened the year we adopted,
No.
math.
Yeah, she was very careful, very detailed what she gave me.
So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
very,
you.
very detailed.
Appreciate
It
it.
was impressive, actually.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Ms. McCollum?
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. Just for a little more, I'm clear on this, maybe probably because of my background, but just for the public to be a little more clear about this, the Louisiana standards in social studies, based on my understanding, and you correct me if I'm wrong, are not like any other, in any other state. Is that correct?
right, the progression of the standards. Yes, ma'am.
So therefore, what happens is that publishers are not going, as you just said a few minutes ago, publishers are not going to write books and a whole massive curriculum resources for a state that is just one state. It's going to, typically, they write for California, Florida, and Texas, who are the largest states, and then they kind of adapt to the other states. Am I incorrect in saying that?
No, you're right. They end up just doing companion guides for the other states to kind of help bridge what standards are not covered.
And sort of match, if there's any differences in standards from one state to the other, they match those to them, maybe, the best they can.
Right.
Is that
And then
correct?
it's on the school board in the curriculum department to fill in those gaps. Yes,
So that's why we have this dilemma of one choice in social studies for pre-K to 8th grade. That's not the case for junior high and high school social studies, am I?
Well, junior high, it's still the same case because it's K-8, but high school,
Okay,
there
that's
are
right.
more options. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I just wanted to clarify that because I'm not sure why the Department of Education decided that our standards were going to be completely different from any other in any other state in the nation, but they are. Thank you, and thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, Ms. McCullough. Ms. Moore?
Okay. We want, it just boggles my mind
we want to be better than we have been, although the state is telling us we're going to just go back to whatever. If 49 other states are doing something else and our scores are not great, we're doing something wrong. Now, I do not like the fact that we have one thing. That's not your problem or anybody else in this room's problem. But Bayou Bridges, K-8, I mean, I've seen, just like Ms. McCollum, books sitting on shelves. Teachers are much better at teaching than they are using something that they don't like. This bothers me a great deal, that we might be putting something in a room that's going to collect dust. And so I will have to think hard and long about my decision on this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hanson, you next.
Yeah, I'm gonna reiterate that. It just bothers me. I was a former social studies curriculum when Ms. McCullum was a math curriculum specialist. And when we had an adoption, there was many resources to choose from. So I guess what I would have to say is this: if this is the only choice we have for K-8, this is the only choice we have, then this is the only resource, textbook resource we can give them. But I think what's important for parents to understand is that the textbook is not the curriculum. And the textbook is one resource of many resources. And now that you have like Library of Congress, the Archive, Smithsonian, all these things that are online that our teachers can get as resources to enhance instruction in the classroom, and whatever, these new, unique only to Louisiana social studies standards, I'm also concerned that how much are we going to be relying on this one resource for K-8 through 8? And therefore, how much does that specifically cost in relation to how much are we going to use it?
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hanson. Any other questions from the board?
I just have one more thing, I'm sorry. Only
All right,
because
Ms.
of
Gallagher.
what Ms. McCollum said. So we'll say use California, for example. Are our standards lower is the question here.
No, it's not that our standards are lower, they follow a chronological order. So they realigned the standards. They did rewrite some of the standards, but the big shift for Louisiana is that they are in chronological order, where before you could have had world history here, then world history, then world geography, then local government, where now it's a cohesive line of standards that are being
So
taught
I
to
guess
our
we couldn't
students.
use that specific text, the choices that California has, but find a different resource just for Louisiana stuff. Do we have to adopt a whole textbook? Like Ms. Hanson was saying over there, like there's resources of just Louisiana history, world history that Louisiana standards would be. So would the textbooks that they're making for California?
No, not necessarily. So you could have a fourth grade textbook in California that is dealing with U.S. history when we're dealing with world history in fourth grade Louisiana.
Gotcha. Now understand.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gallagher. Ms. Hurstis?
I'll be quick. I'm not too excited that we only have one choice, but I can say that I'm excited about the changes with the new social studies program, and I'm also excited about the people that were behind the writing of the new social studies. So I would like to put that on record. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I just, Ms. Fuller, before I close with this, I know that you probably have one of the toughest jobs because you're trying to deal with requirements and you're dealing with standards, you're dealing with teacher preferences. We have professional learning community wishes that they would like to bring into certain things and certain uses. And just to have the right number of textbooks for, like we said, it's like a moving target. And I understand that, I get that, because we've mentioned so many things that impact textbooks. I know you're doing the best that you can, and I appreciate your hard work. And so thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. With that, let's stay on the right page here. Okay, with the Students with Exceptionalities update, Ms. Gardner.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent Jabbia. Throughout the year, our Adaptive Physical Education Department organizes a range of sports activities, including softball, bocce, Mardi Gras, and exceptional games. Their dedicated efforts ensure that students with disabilities have access to sports opportunities that extend beyond the classroom. These initiatives not only raise public awareness and foster understanding of the challenges faced by students with disabilities, but also promotes meaningful inclusion between SWE students and their non-disabled peers. Through these shared experiences, both groups learn the value of teamwork and mutual respect. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Ashley Marcianti and her APE team for their unwavering commitment and hard work in supporting our SWE students. Please check out the video Channel 13 has put together of our softball games.
We're hosting our 8th annual SWE softball games this week for our middle school and junior high SWE athletes. We chose softball because we want our students with exceptionalities to be able to participate in all events just like our typical peers. What's great about softball, you can form a team where our typical peers buddy and help and support our athletes in the softball games.
It's just the opportunity to get out here and enjoy yourself, compete, feel that camaraderie, feel that competition, spirit of competition, have your family and friends here to cheer you on. It's like a Friday night here in St. Tanya Parish.
It's fun because you get to see them smile and be happy and get to do something that's fun, and they get to have fun doing it.
Oh, it's amazing. I know, I'm really glad, I think it's amazing that they put this on for them, and especially that they invite us to help with it.
We had one of our students learn the oath in Braille. She is a VI student, and she practiced with her teacher, and she was able to get in front of the stands yesterday and read Braille of the St. Tammany oath.
United, never divided, one team, one dream. We are St. Tammany.
Our SWE students have so many amazing skills, and for them to be able to read Braille and be able to do the oath, to be able to do the pledge, to be able to do all the different things that some of us take for granted day to day, it's just absolutely amazing to see them get out here and show off skills that as a typical person, we have no idea how that's even possible. So just blows my mind. I'm just always just blown away by our kids and what they do every day.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Do we have any comments or questions by the board? All right. That was an outstanding video, and boy, they had some things in that video that just stand out to me so much, and I just you can just see the joy in the children, but with some intensity. It means so much. It's awesome. Thank you for what you do, Ms. Gardner.
Dr. Peterson, I would like to say too that if we could get back to the day that they got to wear the coats, that would be fantastic. If you could figure that out for us, because we're sweating outside. And whatever day they were there, they had coats, hats. I'm like, ooh, what is winter like? They were in winter. When is that? That would be fantastic. Thank God.
Next week, huh?
Thank God.
All right. At this time, we'll advance to any comments from the public. Brennan?
Good evening again, Chairman, board members, Superintendent Jabbia, administration. Just a couple of updates. Just like the health insurance program, our health and welfare program is also doing and actually wrapping up open enrollment. I did want to communicate, even though Superintendent Jabbia let management know, you guys can have it too. A lot of them, I think they just internet speed read your email. So please, if you're a supervisor or department head, food service, let those kitchen managers know. Foreman can get it. Everybody here up front can get it, not the board members, unfortunately, but that's one of those things. Because we do we're excited about that, the ability to offer that benefit. So just letting you know, if we missed you, you can reach out to the office. It officially closes December 5th, so there's still a little bit of time to get signed up. But we are done with our grand tour, even central office. We went to every single building, our people did, so it was a lot of hard work, but it was worthwhile. We're going to partner with a group, or looking at partnering with a group called Jet Dental. And I think I've spoken to Superintendent Jabbia about this. They could come to our office and do mobile dentistry. They can come to a school and do mobile dentistry. They can come to central office. And they don't charge anything. They're all network dentists, so you get the best bang for your buck. Because dental health contributes to overall health. And we all have to get that dollar figure down for all those claims. So that's important. And that's one of the things the Gallagher Group is offering. It's one of those incentives to earn, I don't know the terminology. I think it's something towards your deductible. But if you do a certain type of event, like getting a checkup with your doctor or actually going to the dentist, you can earn that thing. So it's all about contributing to that overall health of our people, which will contribute to the bottom line. Part of being out in the schools, we distributed the CBAs. I did want to say we saved money. We were smart about it. We didn't order multiple years. We just ordered enough. And some people just wanted the digital version, so we're good. And I wanted the board to know, if we print any more beyond this year, the Federation will foot the bill, but we're still sitting on plenty, not as many as the past, but we'll make do. That's about it. Other than that windfall resolution, the board made a great commitment to trying to help pass, but unfortunately, if you've heard, there's some kind of parliamentary procedure that was done or not done, so suddenly it's tabled all of a sudden. So I would encourage you to reach out to Steve Scalise and other representatives. There's too many people, too many Americans, especially people in this room at home, that need this to happen. And they're right there, and they're going to do this to us in the final hour. I think we need one last push. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. We have no other 3-minute presentations. And so with that, I declare this meeting of the committee as a whole as adjourned. Thank you very much.